All right, traders, watch this video for Wednesday, January 23rd. SPY kind of pushing down today. Look at it on an intraday level. It's just a slow grind on a 5-minute basis here all day. Some volume pops at the end of the day. Some government may reopen temporarily type blurbs coming out on the wires. Don't know if that's true or not. I never trade off of stuff like that. So the Dow was down, ended up closing down like 300 points. And I think we were down over 400 at one point. I don't know, a little bit of a bounce back. But anyway, a couple decent morning trades. I don't think I took a trade all afternoon, although there were a couple setups. I just missed them. What am I watching for tomorrow? ABIL. You know, I love the small caps, right? So ABIL back here hit 278. Then it came and hit a lower high right here about a week ago. 251. It's kind of flagging ever since today. It hit 247. So I love this over 250. Could break out of this tight range and then maybe challenge this, and break through this 278 high from back in December. When I say high, I mean recent high. ALT, another one that closed strong. I actually tweeted out that I was watching I think ABIL, ALT, AYTU, and BOXL for possible moves this afternoon. The daily charts were all getting interesting, and I think some other room jumped into all of those after I typed it. Somebody's following me. I could be wrong, but it sure seemed like a coincidence. And whenever I see a massive volume spike and a move in something that I'm watching, generally I stay away because what often happens is, if it's one of these services that just puts out a tweet or I don't know, what do they do? A mass text or the chat room call or a combination of the three, and they just say, oh, I just bought XYZ, or in this case, ALT, and then everyone else plays musical chairs. That's not really trading, and we don't do that in our chat room, but a lot of people do. And, I used to get mad at that. I used to say, man, you're hurting people. I used to think, well, they're hurting people. Or if somebody calls something long at the open, they know people are going to get burned, and shame on them and so on. But I've kind of changed my position around a little bit. I mean, it's definitely, these guys know what they're doing. It's definitely wrong. But at the same time, you almost have to get burned in the market. You almost have to learn the shysters that are out there. And if you can come out on the other side of that and still have enough money to try to learn to trade the right way, I think that's a necessary part of becoming a professional trader. I mean, if you've never been in a room where you're just chasing calls, or if you've never belonged to a service that sent out text messages and you'd get it on your phone and then you jump on and try to trade it, I almost think that's a rite of passage. It's a necessary evil if you really want to learn the dangers out there, what really goes on out there, and then segue hopefully into proper setups. So while I don't like seeing people chase stocks and get burned, I just think it's almost it's weeding out the people that are just there to gamble anyway. People that are really passionate about learning to trade, they're going to figure it out. You're going to get burned and you're going to figure it out. So I guess there's room for everybody as far as in the trading world. So anyway, long story short, I was right about most of these that I had tweeted out. They did close looking pretty decent, right? The dailies look pretty decent. So ALT is one of them. Let me get this big pop out of here that happened back in September, because what that does, all that serves to do is squash the rest of my chart together where you can't see it. So that's kind of a decent look. I can get that one candle out. So you had a volume pop. Remember, when I say a volume pop, remember, look to the left and you can see the high relative volume spikes right here, 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 and here. So you're getting nice volume lately. 4 sessions ago, this popped on pretty good volume to 340, and today, intraday, briefly took that out, went to 345, closing pretty strong, so certainly worth watching. AYTU. I don't love this, but you did pop back here to $1.19, and then today hit $1.10. There was a big seller at 110. Over that, maybe tomorrow. Look at this ABIL again. All right, I just wanted to check that one more time. All right, so ANFI. I'm not a huge fan of that AYTU, but ANFI, super interesting. If I was a swing trader, I would have taken this as it was approaching $1 today near the end of the day, and I'll show you 5-minute candles. At this point, you could see it had nice relative volume. Big spike here, and then it was coming back up. Whole number breaks can be powerful all by themselves anyway. whole numbers like $1, but then this was coming up to $1. It hadn't broken it yet. And I always try to, especially in the final hour, I always try to look at the daily chart and discern how it's going to look after the closing bell. And this one, I was thinking, even if it topped out at $1, it's going to look pretty good, right? Nice volume back here that it went to $1.03, flagged, and then today right back up. Unfortunately, it went through that on an intraday basis, topping out at 107. It does have some room to run, but I'm a big fan of having a catalyst on the chart above after I take a trade. And so if this were to open, say, at $1.10 tomorrow and not give me any, I looked to the left, there's really no catalyst on the chart anymore. We're in breakout territory, meaning above the most recent high here. I would have preferred this to top out at $1. Maybe tomorrow open at 95 cents. Then I know through $1, you're breaking today's high, and then you're breaking this high. You've stacked catalyst. You don't really have that here. Having said that, it's a strong chart, and we're going to watch it for tomorrow. All right. APRN, nice pop back here, topping out at $1.55 and really kind of flagging ever since. So that's a decent looking chart. BOXL. Wayne made one call on this today at 210, $2.10. And I'll show you on 5-minute candles. It was after this initial pop. Now, a lot of us already had this on a chart because the daily was interesting. I'll pan out to the daily again. This is before today. This had this big pop back here, then a lower high back here, topped out at 220, and then you had this lower high at 210. If you watch my videos at all, you know I've been watching this for a few days, but volume right here just went down to nothing. So I had it on a chart, but I don't even think I had it on my watch list the last couple days as far as in these videos. And then all of a sudden today, we get this big volume spike. People posted the news in the chat room, and it kind of kept pushing up higher highs, higher lows. Actually, equal highs here at 208. Anyway, the call was 210 or through 210. I can't remember. I had a nice little trade in this, and it went to 238 before coming back down. But then in the afternoon, got a nice pop again and a strong close. So I don't know. We're going to watch that one. Nice volume today. People should find it tomorrow. Again, you don't really have a catalyst on the chart nearby now, a potential catalyst, so we'll see. MBOT made this crazy move from when it gapped up this day from 406. That's not an errant ticket. Actually hit 1940 the next day. Nobody in the world thought it should be up there. Now we're, 4 red days in a row. Tip my cap to the shorts that are killing it in this thing. I mean, this obviously seemed like a short. I don't short and I don't hold overnight, so I wouldn't have taken this either way, but I keep watching this, and as I've said in the last couple of videos, as a long player, what I would like to see is a somewhat narrow range and then an afternoon break out of that narrow range. If that happens, I think we could get a little nice kind of little intraday squeeze for a nice trade. So having that on a chart is the only way I'm going to see that setting up if it does. Make sense? Hopefully. All right. And it is down to the 8-day now. But again, I don't, I still think this could just keep, this could completely round trip and then keep going. I have no idea. But it's super interesting to me if it meets those parameters I just spelled out. And then lastly, and I certainly don't love this one, ADIL, but it did make a big move. Like if you go back to early December, it basically ran from 2 to almost 950, right? And over the course of, I don't know, maybe a month. And now you've got 4 days in a row down on almost no volume. It actually pierced the 20-day today. I don't have an area where I say, ooh, here's where I'm going to bid on it. But, kind of like MBOT, if I can get a narrow range and an afternoon break, this one, it's fallen pretty quickly from 944 to 580. That's a pretty good percentage fall. So I do want to watch this for a turn back up, preferably with that same scenario I spelled out for MBOT. Not in love with this list, but we'll also find some gappers in the pre-market to add to this list. Had a nice day today and hope to have another one tomorrow. All right, I'm done babbling. We'll see y'all in chat tomorrow.